I swear, there's no showings for Avengers anywhere. You think I'd have to go to Detroit or something to go see this movie? Wait a minute. Big things happening this time for Avengers. Just got back from Avengers. I'm back. What up, good people? It's your boy D, coming at you with another episode of DA Experience. I'm back from Detroit, and as you can tell, I went and saw Avengers Infinity War. I have been waiting for this movie for so long. This is one of the biggest movies I was looking forward to this year, let alone the last couple of years. It's the culmination of the entire Marvel Universe, from the beginning with Iron Man through the first Avengers movie all the way up until Black Panther a couple of months ago, when we finally got the start of that culmination. I say start, but I'll get to that later. This movie was good. I loved everything from beginning to end. I knew what going into it, what to expect, because as I said, beginning, I knew that this was going to be a two-part movie. A few years ago, they announced that it would be Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. And while this is still called Infinity War, and Part 3 is called Infinity... Actually, I take that back. Part 3 doesn't have a title yet. I knew they were being filmed back to back, so that gave me some idea of how they were going to do things going forward. You know, this is the big end of everything. So between this year and next year, we'll get the culmination of the first three phases of Marvel Universe. But going into this movie, it was so awesome to see all of these characters that I read in comics teaming up again and in different combinations. I mean, it was crazy enough seeing Thor Ragnarok and seeing the Hulk and the Thor together, but now to finally see Iron Man with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and the Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Guardians of the Galaxy also teaming up with Cap, and Cap actually working alongside Black Panther along with the Winter Soldier. We saw them kind of fight a little bit in the original Civil War, but to see them actually fighting again, to see how far the Scarlet Witch and the Vision had come, to see Wakanda again. I mean, even though it had only been 3 months, and you can still go see Black Panther in the theater right now, it was crazy to see that they've already moved forward in the movie. It established Thanos. That is probably one of the best parts of this movie. It established Thanos. Back at the end of the original Avengers movie, I remember people going, "Who is that?" It was funny. People saying, "Is that Grimace to is Hellboy in the Marvel universe?" Stuff like that. Unless you played like the Marvel vs. Capcom video games, or some of those old Marvel and Capcom video games, or you are a real fan, you didn't know who Thanos was. People didn't know how big of a threat he was, how dangerous this guy was. And over the next 10 years, they have been building him up. Well, not 10 years, I guess since Avengers 1. So they've been building him up and building him up and building him up. You saw a little bit of him in Guardians of the Galaxy. You saw a little bit of him at the end of Avengers Age of Ultron. They mentioned him here and there. They started building up the Infinity Stones. But this movie is his story. I mean, they show you why he is the baddest of the bad villains in this movie. He is not some lackey. He's not some idiot. This dude has a plan and knows how to execute it, and nothing will get in his way. He does not care about life. He does not care about death. He just wants this gauntlet to have the stones. He just wants to win. They give you some backstory between him and Gamora, because there were some great character moments between like Gamora and Star-Lord. You know, this is a big part of the Guardians of the Galaxy from the first 2 movies, the whole idea of Thanos and what Thanos had done to them. So you had some great character moments there. You had some great character moments between Vision, because as people know, Vision has one of the stones. Prominently playing part in this we haven't seen since last November, Doctor Strange, even though he popped up in Thor Ragnarok. Seeing Peter again since Spider-Man Homecoming, Iron Man's new suits. But there was some really good character development, and they did a great job of giving you an understanding of who Thanos is and his machinations, machinations? I think it's machinations of why he does what he does. And I love that. And again, I love the character development there. I love seeing these combinations, and the special effects were great, and seeing the Iron Spider suit. Everything I'm telling you, I'm not spoiling anything. All this stuff is in the trailers. Unless you didn't watch the trailers, where you're much better than me. I love a good trailer, but I digress. I'll get back to the point. If I could say there was a negative to this, is because they focus so much on building up Thanos, and because I know there's a fourth movie coming, it's not really an Avengers movie per se. We got these team ups and we got these moments, but you have 15 technically main characters here, and not every character is going to get the screen time that you may have wanted them to get. So I'm gonna give everyone this little stern talking to right now. When you go into this movie, don't have any expectations. Don't expect there to be this combo and this conversation, or to see this scene and see that. Go in there with an open mind as to what you're watching, because this movie has some weight to it. It's going to leave your mouth like on the jaw as to what actually happens during this movie, and you'll leave out of there, if you're not careful, very angry at what you saw. But if you understand the situation, understand what's going on with the movie, and just enjoy the ride, you will enjoy this movie a lot. But if you're looking for like, oh, it's the Avengers, blah 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 blah, no, it's more about establishing Thanos and more about Thanos' story. But the way these teams come together to try to beat him. But I think at times people might not like the fact the movie split between 3 or 4 different scenarios or teams and stuff, and then it kind of, you're like okay, can we get back to back to the action? Which I will say they do a good job of weighing between exposition and plot, action, exposition and plot, action. But at 2 hours and 156 minutes. So at 2 hours and 30 some odd 40 minutes long, this is the longest Marvel movie to date. So at 2 hours and 40 some odd minutes long, to kind of weigh that, I got to give them credit for that. But everybody's not going to get the time and the screen time that you want them to, or the interactions that you want them to. It can't focus on everybody getting this big scene of them taking on the enemies, though there are some great scenes in this movie. All in all, the more I talk about it, the more I start gushing about this movie, I realize I love this movie. I love what they did. I started out in the beginning saying I liked it, but the more I talk about it, the more I realize I love it. My cousin and I, who went and saw this with, big ups to Alex. Thanks for taking me in this weekend. I know y'all were going through a whole bunch of moving and everything, but he still brought me into Detroit. We went and saw this, so I love him for that. But everything about this, I just, more and more I think about it, I just loved. I can't wait to see part 4. I'm so glad it's coming out next year, and there is an end credit scene. So I don't know why people in front row, people in the back row, got up and left. It's like you have not seen a Marvel movie before. It's been 10 years. They've done this with every single movie. Don't leave. Don't leave. But because again, it's 2 movies. They did like Harry Potter, because it's a part 1 and part 2. I can't give this a rating per se. I definitely recommend, if you're a Marvel fan, go out and check this movie. I definitely recommend, if you are a fan of action movies, go out and see this movie. It's definitely worth seeing in the theater. Definitely worth seeing in IMAX. All that good stuff. But I can't really give you a rating on it right now. It is still one of the best Marvel movies out there. So if you enjoy the Avengers movie, definitely go check this out. The next movie up for me, I guess, will probably be Solo, and that'll be in a couple of weeks. So I'm gonna leave you all with that. I'll see you all at the movies, and here's hoping it's a good one. Peace.